Sai Baba told him, okay, chant the Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra is he says is the mother of all mantras. It's very powerful. The deity is the sun. It clears the mind, it destroys the mind, and allows you to see that effulgence of the I am. The sun, who is Christ. Whenever there is fear, you are living here. Fear is living in the mind. Live here in the heart. It's stillness, silence. Don't worry. Stop looking. From today on, stop looking for yourself. It is this looking for yourself that removes looking for something that was never lost. How can you find it? Because it is the mind that looks. You are looking at me now. What is it that's seeing me? It's not the physical eye. It's the mind. If the mind is somewhere else, this eye will not see me. You just be moping, but the eye doesn't see. The ear doesn't hear also. Stop looking. Be yourself. Be happy. This is very important. The more you look, the less you see.
Welcome to Souljourns. What you're about to see is part 2 of what Father Charles Ogata claims is among the most important work of his life, bringing the teachings of India's holy man Sri Satya Sai Baba to the Christian world. Specifically, this Catholic priest from Nigeria is making it his mission to bring the challenging concept of Advaita, non-dualism, or the I am concept of the oneness of God to Christian believers. This important message was recorded in Puttaparthi, India, the home of Sai Baba's ashram, in January 2008.
And we've been told by sages, Sai Baba again told us in one of his discourses in Brindavan, summer showers, and also last year, okay, during his discourse during the youth conference. How many seconds? What is the endurance limit of the mind? 11 to 12 seconds. 11 to 12. Spirituality is so simple. 11 seconds. Without that, you're wasting your time in spiritual part. 11 seconds. Because whatever you do, the mind is not there. When the mind is not there, it's a waste of time. You are in the Mandiri, but you are in London or America. You're jumping around and you're not steady. Then you will not be able to penetrate the essence of the mantra or the sadhana. It is with this power of concentration, when you train the mind to be able to stay at one point, one thing, to the exclusion of all other things, for an uninterrupted period of 11 seconds, the mind will dissolve. The mind will undergo a chemical reaction. And what is that? It will lose its wavering tendency. When you tell it to stay here, it will stay. And with that, you'll be able to do so many things. You have faith that will endure you with faith. Strong faith. What is faith? Faith is surrender, isn't it so? You surrender to Jesus. You tell Jesus, I've surrendered all these problems to you. What are you surrendering? The thought of the problem. Now you say, I have surrendered all this problem to you, my Lord. The next minute, you are in the problem. The problem takes you to different dimensions and contours. And before you know it, you are into a deep depression. And then you realize, you are even crying. Why? Because you are not able to take away the mind from the problem and put it on the feet of Jesus. With concentration, you'll be able to do that. Let's take a little example. The story of Martha and Mary, Luke chapter 10. You know Martha and Mary, they are close friends of Jesus. Jesus used to visit their home. And one day, Jesus visited Martha and Mary. We are devotees of Satya Sai Baba. Swami tells you that he's coming to your home. What will you do? You'll be in the third heavens, and then you start preparing every minute details to welcome him. Isn't it? That was the situation of Martha. Martha was busy. Jesus arrived and was sitting there. Martha was busy preparing little details, cooking the most delicious dish. And Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus, totally absorbed at his feet. Then Martha came to Jesus. She was sweating. I said, please, Lord, tell my sister to come and help me. Look, I'm doing all the job, and here he's sitting doing nothing. Okay? Right? Doing nothing. Tell her to help me. And Jesus looked at Martha and said to Martha, Martha, Martha. He called the name of Martha twice. Martha, Martha. You worry and fret about so many things. But I tell you, only few are needed. Indeed, only one. And Mary has chosen it. And no one can take it away from her. Only one thing is needed in life. Only one, the I am. It is the one that adds value to all the zeros. Without that one, all that you do is a waste of time. Is zero. But we lose sight of the one and we are focused on the many. We forget the I am. You are thinking about your wife, your children, your husband, your business, but you never think about the I am. And when you don't think, you are even thinking about Jesus outside yourself. How can you find yourself when you are looking for yourself? Impossible. You have to look inside. It is only when we look inside our own reality that we will be able to understand the reality of Jesus and indeed the reality of any other incarnation. Focus is very, very important on the spiritual part. With focus, there's nothing you cannot do. There's a little example also from the Bhagavatam. Dronacharya. You know, Dronacharya is the guru of the Pandavas. He taught them the act of shooting. He's an expert. So, he was teaching the Pandavas, the 5 brothers, Arjuna and his brothers, Bhima and the rest. He was teaching them how to shoot. You can't shoot without focus. Is it? It is the primary act. To shoot with focus, the arrow will pull your soul to the target of the I am and you merge in him. If you don't have focus, there's no way you can escape the gravity of the mind. The mind has gravity. It is stronger than the gravity of the earth. You jump now, what will happen? You will fall. Isn't it so? But there's a force with which you jump, you will never fall again. You'll be taken up in space. There is also a atmosphere that has gravity. And it is only with focus that you'll be able to escape that gravity of the mind and enter into spacelessness, the silence of the soul, whereby you don't need any other effort. So he was teaching them, and then he tied a bird on the tree and told them to shoot one by one. But before they shoot, he asked them a question. What do you see? So he asked Bhima, Bhima, what do you see? And Bhima said, I see a bird tied with a rope and a sky behind it. How many things is this seeing? 3. Like that, the other 4 brothers saw many things. When he asked Arjuna, what do you see? Arjuna said, I see the eye. Eye. And when he shoots, he's going to shoot the eye because he's not seeing any other thing. When I see so many things, then I can shoot the rope. I can also shoot the sky behind it. I can also shoot, you can miss. But when you are seeing one thing, when you shoot, you hit the target. That is the quality of what? Concentration. It endures with the power of penetration and the power to penetrate any of your sadhana. For example, we take the Hail Mary. Hail Mary. Hail Mary is a powerful mantra of the Christian church. Hail Mary is like the Gayatri mantra. In fact, the Gayatri mantra is a version of the Hail Mary. Once, I tell you this story, Sai Baba again. Once, Sai Baba, a devotee, Sai Baba called a devotee for an interview. And then he asked the devotee, what is your sadhana? And the devotee told him that his sadhana is the Gayatri mantra, the Hail Mary. I'm going to explain this. And then Sai Baba told him, okay, chant the Gayatri mantra. Gayatri mantra is the mother of all mantras. It's very powerful. The deity is the sun. It clears the mind, it destroys the mind, and allows you to see that effulgence of the I am, the sun, who is Christ. So, Sai Baba started chanting the Gayatri mantra. And then the devotee was repeating, no, he said, no, chant with me. By then, the devotee was putting his hand on the lap of Sai Baba like that. Okay? And then they started chanting the Gayatri mantra. All of a sudden, the body of Sai Baba became fire. And the devotee removed his hand. Why? Sai Baba, immediately chanting the Gayatri, he becomes the essence of the Gayatri. The Holy Ghost fire. The fire that does not burn, although it is consuming. It does not consume, although it's burning. The fire that transforms everything. The light, the life, the love in all. He became that principle. And then he removed his hand. When they finished, he was doing like this to see whether the body has cooled. It is very important. It is with the power of focus that you penetrate the mantra. That your mind is totally absorbed in the object of your mantra. And then all of a sudden you become the mantra, you become the deity itself. Because all the deities are resident within you. The Hail Mary is the Gayatri mantra. Hail Mary, what does it mean? Mary is the new Eve. New Eve. The new Eve that gave birth to the Christ, the I am. You remember the old Eve, Genesis. The old Eve and the Adam. Jesus is the new Adam. Mary is the new Eve. The new Eve is the mind of Adam. Eve is the mind of Adam. Genesis. You remember the Genesis, the account of creation. Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve. Where did Adam and Eve come from? Eve came from the rib of Adam. God created Adam. Shiva Shakti. Adam and Eve are the Shiva Shakti principle. So, but Eve was taken from the side of Adam. What does that mean? When Adam was in the deep sleep state, read that properly. Adam was in a deep sleep state of silence. We come back again to silence. Then God took Eve from the rib of Adam. What does that mean? What does the rib represent? The lungs. What does the lung represent? Air, value. So what that really means is that when you were able to chant the Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, illumine our minds. You enter that mantra. State of the soul. So you just be. But we have been so accustomed to not being. So Mary is the new Eve. Jesus is the new Adam. The new Eve gave birth to the new Adam. The mind must lead man to realization of the I am. Adam and Eve is in each and every person. They are not separate entities. To realize the unity of Adam and Eve, Shiva Shakti, for them to merge in the one I am, is the purpose, the end of spirituality. So the Blessed Virgin Mary, having realized the motherhood of God, motherhood of the I am, both in concrete form and in reality, stands as the deity of the total dissolution of the mind. So that prayer which Christians say, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Now the second part should be, Holy Mary, illumine our minds. Now let's get back to the issue of concentration, which is very important on the spiritual part. Immediately we grasp this all-important fundamental tool of our spiritual sadhana. Our spiritual exercise will become easy. When you don't have the right tools, then it becomes very, very hard for you to effect a change in what you are doing. You want to cut a tree with a razor blade. Very, very hard. You must have the right tool. The right tool, the fundamental tool, the ABC of spirituality is the ability to train the mind. It's concentration. The ability to focus the mind. So we've talked about what is concentration. And this concentration, the qualities of concentration, it endures with faith. Faith, what is faith? The ability to stay at the feet of the Lord, whereby nothing worries you. To focus totally at the Lord. Concentration is the greatest fasting. You might fast for 20 days. Some people fast for 7 days without food and water. The greatest fasting is to make the mind stay at one place. That is the greatest tapas. That is the greatest spiritual exercise. Now, there are 3 levels of concentration. There are 3 stages. The first is external concentration, like what we just did. You must choose an object of concentration. All the sages, all the saints practiced concentration to realize their inner self. Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna, all of them practiced concentration. You must choose an object of concentration, the external concentration. It might be the picture of Jesus, but it must be something that evokes love from your heart. Everything, you can use anything to practice concentration, remember. Why? Because everything is an embodiment of I am. Everything is God. But you must use something that evokes love from your heart. If it does not evoke love from your heart, the mind cannot stay. If you are doing something and then there is no love, time crawls. But if there is love in what you are doing, time flies. So you must choose an object of concentration, the picture of your guru. And then you must put this picture or object of concentration at strategic places of your life. Put it if you're a housewife or a family person. Put it in the bedroom. Put it in the bathroom. Put it in the kitchen, in the parlor. Put it as your screensaver. Put it as your computer, your telephone, the saver in the telephone. Put it, your workplace, paste it at strategic places. It requires only 11 seconds. And practice. With practice, I tell you, within 12 months, you'll be surprised at your effort, at your progress. What if you gain this act of concentration, what it will take lifetimes to achieve, you will achieve within a year. That is why some people get frustrated on the spiritual part. They try, they do sadhanas, they do rituals, they do sacrifice, but there is no effect, there is no tangible effect. How do you know whether there is effect in your spiritual part? When nothing disturbs you, when there is this unshakable peace in your life. Then the mind, what is the source of disturbance? It's the mind. When the mind runs into problems, you get depressed. But when you're able to hold the mind at a place, the ocean is still. In that still ocean, you experience the peace of the soul that nothing can shake you. And actually, that peace of the soul is the source. Everything is done in it. It is the energy that creates everything. So, concentration is very important. Put that object of concentration at any place. All places, because you can do it at any place, at any time, anywhere. When you wake up in the morning, you see it beside your bed. Do 12 seconds. 12 seconds is not 12 minutes, isn't it? 12 seconds is gone right away. Before you take your bath, do 12 seconds concentration. At workplace, 12 seconds concentration. Because this is the fundamental. If you are reading, I want to learn French, and I don't know the alphabets of French, and I want to become a professor in French, it's not difficult. That's what people do in spirituality. They don't learn the fundamentals, yet they want to become professors in spirituality. This is the fundamental of spirituality, the ability to hold this mind at a place. So, put this object of concentration anywhere, and then remember, when you are looking at it, when you are focusing, what is it? Be careful. Don't describe. Just watch. Without the winkling of the eyelid. The eyelid, when you wink, is the mind shaking. Because this eye is a reflection of the mental eye, which is a reflection of the spiritual eye. So when this one is winking, this one is winking. So focus. With practice, you will attain perfection. Then that is the first stage. This physical focus relates to the physical material universe, which is an atom. This whole physical material universe that we see, which itself is mind-boggling when you think about it. When you think about the ocean, the stars, uncountable stars in the infinite sky. When you think about galaxies, when you think about the infinite space, this is only material universe. And this material universe is an atom in the subtle mental universe, the world of the mind. So with physical concentration, you'll be able to enter into mental concentration. You'll be able to penetrate the astral world. Very, very important. When you are sleeping and you are dreaming, which world are you seeing? You see so many things. You see light, but that light is not this light. That light is more real than this light, because this one is a third reflection. This light we see is a reflection of the mental light. So when you are able to now get into the subtle mental universe from the physical concentration, you enter into the subtle mental universe to practice mental concentration. What does that mean? I have focused on you. 12 seconds. Then I close my eyes. And then bring your picture in my mental eye. 1 second it will disappear. Isn't it? Because it's harder. Okay? But you have to practice. You have to practice holding it, not describing it. You're just holding it in the mind for 12 seconds. With time, you discover that you make such progress that you now begin to be absorbed in your image, the form of the guru, the form of the master, Jesus' form, for example, Satya Sai Baba's form, for example. You close your eyes and then hold the image. If you hold it continuously for 12 seconds, something begins to happen. In fact, from there, when you're able to master mental concentration, a lot of things becomes easy. It's like when the firewood is in the fire. For the endurance limit. The rest of the thing, it is the fire that does it, it's not the firewood. Do you understand? Spirituality becomes natural, easy. Immediately you are able to practice this to 11 seconds concentration. And then the third stage is the third level of awareness. This concentration will lead you to a third level of awareness, which is darkness. Blind, the image will disappear. Blind, void. The mystics call it the dark night of the soul or the cloud of unknowing. Nothingness. It relates to the third state of consciousness. When you are in deep sleep, what happens? You don't know anything, isn't it? But when you wake up, you feel refreshed. You feel healthy. Why? Because you have contacted silence. You have contacted the I am, although unconsciously. To be able to do it consciously is the aim of spirituality. To be able to contact yourself consciously. That's what we call consciousness of consciousness. I am that I am. So, when you reach that state of darkness, many people, that I'm saying this because when you begin to practice, sometimes you feel darkness and you might be worried that nothing is happening. No. You might get, my emptiness. I'm just experiencing emptiness, nothingness. Don't get worried. Stay. Be still. That emptiness will lead you into silence, which is neither emptiness nor nothing, nor not somethingness. It's beyond description. It's not allowed to say what you experience. So, dear brothers and sisters, this is how you can penetrate the I am. It is the negative part, the part of removing not this, not that, not this, not that. Removing the mind, making it to stay at one thing. First of all, making the mind see I am in everything, then making the mind see only one. And then from that focus, from that pointedness, to dissolve the mind. Then you'll be able to experience. Experience is very important. Without experience, you cannot know the I am. It's impossible because it is the mind that knows. That's why it is very hard to know Jesus. The same question. You can only experience Jesus. And when you experience Jesus, all knowledge and ignorance disappear because it is beyond knowledge and ignorance. You can't say it. It's not allowed to say. If you say it, it is not. Okay? So, yeah.
What you're saying, on one level, makes tremendous sense. On another, flies in the face of modern thinking about the use of the mind, Father Charles. The whole of Western civilization, indeed, the entire principle of modern scientific discoveries is based on the use of the mind. Furthermore, really, the power, the expansive power of the mind. You seem to be advocating the total dissolution of the mind. This is so hard to grasp for so many people. Won't de-emphasizing the mind reduce us to the level of the animal kingdom?
Good question. There are 3 levels. Below mind, in mind, above mind. Below mind is the animal kingdom. In mind is the human kingdom. Above mind is the divine reality. To master the mind. People are afraid of the mind dying. Huh? When you talk about the mind dying. So how can we not do things? When the sun is there any need for the moonlight?
No.
No. The sun, the original sun, the original activity is the soul, the Atma, the I am that I am. The mind is the moonlight. Actually, the mind as such does not exist. Why? Its light is not original to it. Its light is just a reflection. So when the sun is not seen and only the moon is shining, that's when you are using the moonlight to do, the mind to do things. But immediately you get into the sun of the I am, you don't need the light of the moon to do things. Do you understand? So as long as this mind, as long as you have not realized the light, the self-effulgence of the I am, the mind is necessary. You need the moonlight to see. But that mind, that light of the mind is not original to it. It's a reflection. It's an image. So are you afraid to lose your image? Do you understand? Listen. Romans, St. Paul made a very, very prophetic statement in the Romans chapter 8, verse 22. Very prophetic statement. He said, the whole of creation at the present is undergoing a birth pang. A birth pang. You know, when a woman is about to deliver a baby. What the pangs that you see in our society today is an auspicious sign, is a birth pang. Humanity is about to be born into the Christ consciousness. This is important. Remember, what is it that enthroned this reason, this mind that has so much? It has done good, but it has done evil. What is it that enthroned it? It's the age of reason, Renaissance, isn't it? Cogito ergo sum. I am. I think, therefore I am. Descartes, René Descartes. It is the thing that puts emphasis on thinking instead of on being. I think, therefore I am. Is a wrong emphasis. So humanity has to this birth, for humanity to enter into this new age, this birth of Christ consciousness, this soul awareness, it has to shift the emphasis from thinking to being. I am, therefore I think. It means less thinking. The more you think, the more you move out from the self, because the thought pulls you away from the I am. It drags you outside. So humanity now needs less thinking and more being. And from that, you enter into the final stage. That final stage is, I am that I am. I am, therefore I am. That state is self-effulgent. It is absolute, eternal. You don't need to do anything. The soul is self-originating. Jesus said, be healed. Automatically you are healed. It is spontaneous because it is coming from silence. Now I say be healed. You are looking at me. You are even more confused than with my words. Nothing happens. Why? Same words, but different energy. The words of Jesus are coming from the I am principle. But your words are coming from reflection, mind. Image has no power. That's why Jesus said, if you believe in me, who is that me? It is the I am. I am in you. If you believe in me, you will do the same works that I do, even greater, because I'm merging in the divine principle. But we don't believe in the I am principle. The I am principle has infinite potential, possibilities. But we lose this consciousness of this I, and we concentrate on the paraphernalia, the clothings of I am. We don't know ourselves. Man, know yourself. Then you know everything. I am is that when you know it, you know everything. Without knowing it, nothing is known. All knowledge is a waste. So, that is very important. This stage in which we are, the Western, not only the Western mind, wherever there is mind, there is mind. But the Western mind tends to be more emphatic on the mind. But also realize this point. We talk about discoveries, modern discoveries, the discoveries of Einstein, the discoveries of Newton. But if you read their history, you discover that what they have discovered is not from the mind, it is from the spirit. It is when they have tried and tried and tried and confused, then they are still. In that stillness, the answer will bubble from inside without any effort. And then immediately they make that little discovery, then the mind will grab it and start dissecting it, analyzing it, putting blocks and edifices on it. Where has that discovery come from? It's coming from the heart. Therefore, when this mind dissolves, it is the age of the golden age, the age of higher consciousness. We're talking about here now. You can call your daughter in America. You can even see her right here in America. She's there. You can watch what is happening in America right now here. Isn't it so? But in the age of consciousness, you don't need those paraphernalia. You get connected to the heart of creation. I will know your heart. You will know my heart. If I want to be in America, I'm in America immediately. There is heart-to-heart connection. There is soul communication. It is a higher state of being than the being of the mind. The mind is a reflection of the inner soul. So don't be afraid to lose this mind. Don't be afraid to lose your shadow. It's a shadow, dead shadow. Whenever there is fear, you are living here. Fear is living in the mind. Live here in the heart. It's stillness, silence. Don't worry. The mind creates problems and tries to solve the problems. When you contact the soul, all problems will disappear. It is bliss, pure existence. The book of Jeremiah said it. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 34. It says, the time when the Spirit of God will flow over the earth like a river, whereby you don't need to tell your brother, do good or know God, because he already knows God. Who is that God? It is the I am principle. When we get into contact with that I am principle, the Spirit of God, the new age of higher consciousness, will overflow the earth. Okay? So,
Father Charles, this has been quite an exploration of topics that I have never been taught as a child, being raised Christian, being raised Catholic. Can you summarize, can you give us one final message to summarize all you have taught, a message which will make us see things just a little more clearly than you've already demonstrated for us?
Stop looking. From today on, stop looking for yourself. It is this looking for yourself that removes looking for something that was never lost. How can you find it? Because it is the mind that looks. You are looking at me now. What is it that's seeing me? It's not the physical eye. It's the mind. If the mind is somewhere else, this eye will not see me. You just be moping, but the eye doesn't see. The ear doesn't hear also. Stop looking. Be yourself. Be happy. This is very important. The more you look, the less you see. Very, very important. You are that fullness. You are the I am that I am. And it is in stillness that you realize it does not take anything to be still. To be at ease, it doesn't take anything. No effort. It's just to be at still. That's the easiest thing. Spirituality is simplicity. The mind is complex. Wherever there is complications, is the mind. Spirituality is like being a child. When, for example, you see a little baby on the cradle, what happens? You want to hug the baby, isn't it so? You want to carry the baby in your arms. What is it that drawing you to the baby? It's not your love. It is the love of the baby. It's not that you love the baby. It is the baby who loves you. It is the beauty, the bliss of the baby that is attracting you to the baby. Why? The baby has no mind, no thought. And in that thoughtless state, the energy, the radiance, the magnetism of the soul shines out and attracts you. And then you go. When I love you beyond reason, beyond mind, it's called unconditional love, pure love. It's emptiness without describing you. Now, when I now begin to, and in that emptiness, for example, you draw all things to yourself. You become attractive. People will naturally be drawn to you. But when I begin to put mind, hey, this person, why is he coming today? That mind, although I have not pronounced it in my words, will draw you away. It's attached love. So the message is, be happy, be still. Stop looking for yourself. You are yourself. It is this looking for yourself that creates all the problems. I tell you a little story. This story was told by Ramana Maharshi about the 10 foolish men. Have you heard about the story before? The 10 foolish men. They were going to a place and they have to cross a river that was flooded. And then they have to fight so hard in order to cross this river. They were 10, remember. And then when they have crossed the river, they wanted to be sure that everyone has crossed the river. So to be sure, one person started counting the rest. to be sure that they are 10 complete. And then one started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And he didn't count himself. We are 9, yeah? And then he said, one person must have been drowned. And then another person, the next person started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then they all burst into tears, crying, wailing, that one of them has got drowned. And they were wailing and crying. Can you imagine when you see, men crying and wailing at the bank of the river? So one good wayfarer saw them crying and then asked, "Why are you crying? Why are you weeping?" And then they narrated their ordeal to him, that they came 10, now there are 9. One person has got drowned. And then the person looked. He knew there are 10. Then he understood the problem. And he said, "Okay, I'm going to tell you how we are going to recover this one person missing." And they were very happy at the prospect. And then he said, "Please tell us." I said, "Okay, what is going to happen? I'm going to count you. You are going to line up, and I'm going to count you. And each person I count, I'm going to give a blow on the head. Then when I give you a blow on the head so that you know you have been counted once, the blow is to make you know that you have been counted." So when I give you a blow on your head, you will say 1. So he started, "Koi," and the first person said 1. Boy, 2. Boy, 3. Boy, 4. Boy, 5. Boy, 6. Until the last person, boy, he said 10. "Oh, we are 10, we are complete." And they laughed. And they thanked the wayfarer for removing their grief. But the question is, before, during, and after, was anyone lost? What was the source of their grief? Ignorance. You were never lost, but you are looking for yourself. God is as far from you as you are as far from yourself. Don't look, be. It's so simple. It is very hard for the mind to accept. They say it's very hard. So simple. That's why Jesus said, you can never enter the kingdom. That kingdom is the kingdom of the I am. You can never enter the kingdom of God within you unless you are a child. A child is being. Nothing is important. You see also, when I say it, the mind gets agitated. Nothing is important. Hey, so my business is not important. My wife is not important. My children are not important. But in truth, they are not. What is important? You. The I am. Without that I am, is there any wife? Is there any children? Is there any business? When you realize that I am as I am, then your whole perspective of life changes. You'll be able to love not just my child, but you'll be able to see child in every person. You'll be able to be a mother not just to your own children, but to every soul. You'll be able to be a husband or any other qualifications to the universal self. That is the meaning. And that is the real message that we have to grasp today. That Jesus is the life within us. Jesus is the life within everything. When we realize that life, that divine principle within us, then we understand who Jesus is. Then there will be no fight. There will be no quarrels. We will live in the harmony of love. Thank you.
And when we continue more about the Christ consciousness, more about Jesus, more about Sai Baba. Brother Charles, thank you very much. Amen and Sai Ram.
Amen, Sai Ram. To get out. Yeah. But now, initially, it is very easy for you to do what? To enter. But very hard.
Who is this Sai Baba that you mentioned in addition to Jesus?
It's also like asking who is Jesus. Sai Baba is the I am principle. He has also said it's a waste of time asking who am I. You can't. Even when you do it in billions of lifetimes, you can't comprehend my reality. You can only understand my reality when you understand the very reality of yourself, the I am within you. Then you'll be able to understand divinity. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So all these questions are misplaced questions. We are searching for the pin where we did not lose the pin. The kingdom of God is within you. You are searching for it outside. Search for Jesus inside you. Search for Sai Baba inside you. Then you will realize that Jesus and Sai Baba are one. Not only that, you are one with everything. On that mountain top of silence, the whole universes are one. There is no separation.
Is that why Sai Baba says if you're a Catholic, be a good Catholic? If you're a Jew, be a good Jew?
Yeah, it is being a good Jew, being a good Catholic is the first stage on the spiritual path. The stage of purification of the mind. Seeing good in everything is being good. It's also seeing the I am in everything is being good. When, for example, you see only Catholics as your own brother and the Muslims are going to go to hell, that's not goodness. 1 minus 1 is 0. You must see God in everything. There's no distinctions. Whatever you do to any of these, you do it to me. A little story from Sai Baba himself. You know Professor Kasturi? Sai Baba brought him so close to him, and he was the one who wrote the biography of Sai Baba, the first biography of Sai Baba. Now, Professor Kasturi invited Sai Baba once for a meal, lunch. You could imagine when you invite Jesus for a lunch, and Jesus is going to come to your home for a lunch, okay? So he prepared. He really prepared every dish in the right manner, in the right ritual, everything. 12:30 was the appointed time. Now, 12:30, there was no sign of Sai Baba. 12:15, there was no sign of Sai Baba. 12:45, there was a knock on the door. And Kasturi's heart jumped, of course, thinking it was Sai Baba. And then when he opened the door, he did not see Sai Baba. He saw a beggar, tattered, with a walking stick, almost in drags. And then this beggar begged for food. Of course, Kasturi does not want to offer the food he has prepared for Sai Baba first to a beggar. I mean, we will offer food first to God before we even eat it. He has not even touched the food. He has to offer to Sai Baba first before he eats it. So he gave 5 pairs, what do you call the Indian rupee? Not rupee now, the paisa. It's like, you remember then in the 40s, it's like maybe 100 rupees now to the beggar to go and eat. It's easy to give money, do charity. But the greatest spirituality is to see God in everything. So he gave that money to the beggar, and the beggar took the money and walked away. 1 o'clock, no sign of Sai Baba. 1:15, no sign of Sai. So Kasturi was thinking, has he forgotten? Kasturi has direct access to Sai Baba's room then. So he quickly walked to the room of Sai Baba upstairs and knocked at the door. So when he knocked at the door, Sai Baba opened the door. And he said, Swami, you promised to come for lunch to my house. And the food is almost getting cold. Swami said, but I came. I came and you gave me 5 pairs. Here it is, take it back. Do you understand? Whatever you do to any of these, you do it to me. To have that consciousness that you are not doing to anyone, that you are doing to yourself, the I am in you, is pure spirituality. Even when we are doing silver, we think we are helping another person. It's ego. When you come to that consciousness that you are not helping another, you are just helping yourself, that is pure spirituality. We are doing a medical camp in the village one time, last few years, on alternative medicine. And one man came. He was cultivating in his farm. And incidentally, he cut his hand, the left hand, big wound. So we use those silver to teach, we are always attentive to teach vital lessons. So when he came to me, And I was looking at him, and I asked him, I'm going to ask you a question. If you answer it, then I will give you the herbs. So he said, please ask me. I asked him, it is the right hand that cut this left hand, isn't it? He said, yes. When this right hand cut this left hand, why didn't you give the knife to the left hand to cut the right hand back? So he was just confused looking at me. But it is a very vital question. Why? Why did you go to seek treatment? You didn't cut back. Because you have that feeling of oneness. When you connect to the universal I am, you have that feeling of oneness with all creation. And you will never hurt. That is the root of non-violence. Even when there is a hurt, there is no revenge. It's just to heal the hurt. This is the message. This is the fundamental message of Jesus. This is the core of spirituality. This is the core of all the religions. The oneness, the I am, is the first name of God. And all of us breathe that I am. The mountains, the mountain peak, they speak of the grandeur of the I am. The waters of the deep ocean, when they roar, what are they saying? The depthlessness of the I am. Have you taken out time to look at the stars in the ocean, in the infinite sky? What do they speak of? The shout of the radiant effulgence, the light of the I am. Everything is, there's nothing different from the I am. If you realize this, there's nothing great, there's nothing higher. You have reached the end, the purpose of life. Okay? So, amen. Amen. We're going to talk so much. Later on, we're going to talk about Adam and Eve. What does that really mean? The principle of amen. What does it mean? And so many things that
the principle of reincarnation.
Principle of reincarnation. Reincarnation is also not real. It's an illusion. What is it that reincarnates? It's the mind. It's not real. The Atma, you never comes. It's never born. It doesn't die. So immediately you realize you are real you. There's no reincarnation. Because you are never born, you never die. It is this ego that comes and dies. That is why Jesus said, if you believe in me, if you believe in the I am, you will never taste death.
So when Baba talks about reincarnation, it's talking about the ego that comes and goes?
It's the ego that comes and goes. It's the ego that dies. Immediately the ego dies, there's no death. It's the second death. The book of Revelation talks about the second death. But when you reach the seventh sanctuary, the seventh church, the sanctuary of silence, you merge in the one and you attain the mystery of God. The book of Revelation talks so much about that. We're also going to talk about the mysteries of the book of Revelation because Christians don't understand that mysticism. It's pure mysticism. You cannot understand it just by reading it.
Father, thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Sairam.
Amen. Sairam.